This video shows how to replace the DC capacitors and heatsink cooling fan and internal cooling fan on an ODP2 and ECO IP55 frame size 7 as part of the planned maintenance schedule. Place the drive on a flat surface that will prevent damage to the plastics and allow easy access to internal parts. Ensure anti-static precautions are always taken. To remove the terminal cover, use a flathead screwdriver to loosen the 6 screws. Now use a Security Torx 30 screwdriver to loosen the 10 screws that hold the top access cover in place. Tilt the cover to expose the ribbon cable and carefully pull it away. Disconnect the heatsink fan using a terminal screwdriver and unclip the lead. Remove the 4 screws that hold the fan box in place using a Torx 25 screwdriver. The torque setting is 2 Nm. The fan can now be removed. Place the fan box on a flat surface. To separate the fan from the fan guard and fan box, remove the 2 screws using a Torx 25 screwdriver. The torque setting is 2 Nm. Replace the fan using the new fan supplied in the Preventive maintenance kit. You may need to thread the 2 holes in the new fan using an M5 tap. Remove the control board earth connector by pulling it away from the PCB. Remove the control board ribbon cable by pushing down the 2 tabs. Using a Torx 20 screwdriver, remove the 4 screws that hold the control board support. The torque setting is 1 Nm. Now remove the control board support. Remove the fan connector by pulling it away from the PCB. To remove the fan, use a Torx 20 screwdriver to remove the 2 screws. The torque setting is 1 Nm. You might need a pair of long-nosed pliers to hold the nuts on the back of the screws. When replacing the fan, use the parts supplied in the Preventive maintenance kit. To remove the U, V and W bus bar, remove the 3 output phase bolts and washers using a 17 mm socket. The torque setting is 1 Nm. Also remove the brake bus bar nut and washers using a 13 mm socket. The torque setting is 1 Nm. Remove the 4 screws using a Torx 20 screwdriver. The torque setting is 1 Nm. Disconnect the 3 bus bar mounting bolts using a 13 mm socket. The torque setting is 10 Nm. Now lift and remove the U, V and W bus bar. Use a terminal screwdriver to remove the fan cable and the thermistor cable. Disconnect the earth cable by pulling it away from the PCB. Disconnect the 2 flying leads by pulling them away from the connectors. Disconnect the ribbon cable by pulling it away from the PCB. Remove the 17 screws holding the power board in place using a Torx 20 screwdriver. The torque setting is 2.5 Nm. And remove the power board. Remove the brake bus bar screw using a Torx 30 screwdriver. The torque setting is 6 Nm. Remove the 2 bolts using a 13 mm socket. The torque setting is 10 Nm. Remove these 2 screws using a Torx 30 screwdriver. The torque setting is 6 Nm. Remove the balancing resistors by removing the 16 screws using a Torx 25 screwdriver. The torque setting is 3 Nm. Remove the 6 bolts using a 13 mm socket set. The torque setting is 10 Nm. The bus bar can now be removed. To remove the 8 DC capacitors, remove the 32 screws using a Torx 20 screwdriver. The torque setting is 1.5 Nm. Replace the DC capacitors using the parts supplied in the Preventive maintenance kit. Rebuild the drive by reverse engineering the previous steps taken. Once any modifications have been completed to the drive, you must ensure the software is updated to the latest version.